Dear students, in today's session we will discuss about hypothesis testing. Hypothesis testing is one of the important topics in quantitative methods. So let's see what is hypothesis testing in brief. Okay. It is used for making inferences about a population using data from a small sample. That is, for making a clear conclusion or inference regarding a particular population using a very small sample, we are using hypothesis testing. So basically we are assuming that certain statements are true about a particular population, and we are trying to test it using different statistical tools, and then finally coming into conclusion whether we have to accept our assumption or hypothesis, or we need to reject it. Okay, that is the basic idea of hypothesis testing. Now here we are checking if our sample is likely to come from the population that we are studying. So whether this sample can be used for generalizing that particular population. That is what we are testing here. Then the assumed value of the population statement we wish to test is called null hypothesis, and it is represented as H0, and the statement we accept when we reject H0 is called alternate hypothesis or H1. So null hypothesis is represented as H0 and alternate hypothesis is represented as H1. Okay, so we reject H0 if the difference between the sample and the population mean is so large that it falls in the rejection region. Okay, so what is the acceptance region? We already discussed that the acceptance region in a particular normal distribution is the region between UCL and LCL. So anything which comes outside UCL and NCL, that is considered as the rejection region. Okay, so here, higher the significance level, higher the probability of rejecting H0 when it is true. Now what is significance level? Significance level means, for example, if I say that my assumption for a particular, confidence level for a particular assumption is 90%, then definitely the significance level will be 10%. That is 100 minus 90, I'll get 10. So that is my significance level. Then when I say I am 95% confident, or confidence level is 95%, then significance level becomes 5%. So basically significant level it depicts the rejection region, or it represents the rejection region. Okay, now another important thing regarding the hypothesis testing is two type of errors that we need to study. That is type 1 error and type 2 error. Now let's see what is type 1 error. So rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true. So here we are rejecting H0 when it is true. Actually the assumption is correct, but when we are rejecting it, that type of error is called type 1 error. Okay, so here the probability of making type 1 error is alpha. Okay, we are representing the type 1 error probability as alpha, and is usually fixed at 10%, 5% and 1%. So here this is also called the significant level. So here alpha is called the level of significance or significance level, right? Then type 2 error. What is type 2 error? Accepting the null hypothesis when it is false. So actually the assumption is false, but still we are accepting. That type of error is called type 2 error, and it is represented as beta. So type 1 error is represented as alpha, and type 2 error is represented as beta. Okay, now coming to the power of a test. So when does we say that a test is having power? That means our assumptions or whatever conclusion we make should be correct, right? So here we say power of a test is the probability of rejecting a null hypothesis when it is false. That is, actually the hypothesis is false and we are rejecting it. That means our assumption when it is actually false, we are rejecting it. That is what is called power of a test, and it is given as 1 minus beta. Why? Because beta is actually the probability of type 2 error. Type 2 error means we are accepting the null hypothesis when it is actually false. So the power of a test is 1 minus beta, that is rejecting null hypothesis when it is false. That is 1 minus beta. Okay, now very important thing in hypothesis testing is the different steps that we need to follow while we are performing the test. So the first one is formulate H0 and H1. The first thing when we get a problem is we need to first formulate H0. So we need to have a clear idea about what is our null hypothesis and what is our alternate hypothesis. Then we select the test. Selecting the test means we need to select whether it is a Z test or T test, or what type of test we are going to perform. Then choosing the significance level. How do we choose? If the significance level is given in the question, we can take it as such, or if the confidence level is given, then we need to find out the significant level. Then calculate test statistics. So you using, if it is a Z test, then we need to perform that and find the value, or if it is T test, then again accordingly we need to find the test statistics. Then compare the value with the significance level. Now we need to check whether it is coming the acceptance region or rejection region, and you can accept or reject the hypothesis. So going in detail with the steps in hypothesis testing, if you go, the first step is decide whether test is one-tailed test or two-tailed test. Now what do you mean by one-tailed test is that, see for example, mu is given in the question. So if I say my mu value is 50, so h naught is 50. If I say my h naught is given as mu is equal to 50, then h1 can be mu not equal to 50, right? If when I say mu not equal to 50, it can be either less than 50 or greater than 50. So this side as well as this two tails are open here. That is what is called two-tailed test. Okay, that means we need to consider this region as well as this region. It can be either less than or it can be greater than. That is the alternate hypothesis. But when it comes to one-tailed test, only one tail or only one part is opened. That means it is either less than mu or it is greater than mu. It cannot be both the sides. That is called one-tailed test. We will discuss this one-tailed and two-tailed test in detail once we start doing the problem. Okay, in the next video we will be doing problems, so you will understand it clearly. Then second step is decide which distribution to use, just like how I explained, whether it is T distribution or Z distribution, and find the critical values chosen level of significance. So using the table we need to find out the T value or the Z value. Then calculate the standard error for the sample statistics. For calculating standard error also we have different formulas. That is when the population is given, when the population is not given, when proportions are given. So different formulas are there for calculating the standard error. So the third step is to calculate the standard error. Then using that, using the formula, you need to find UCL and LCL for the population. Okay, by means using standard error and critical Z or T value. Then fifth step is check if the sample value lies in the acceptance or rejection region. Again, you will have to draw the normal curve or the T curve, and then finally find out whether it is coming in the acceptance region or the rejection region. So accordingly we will accept the null hypothesis or we will reject the null hypothesis. So these are the fundamental steps for doing hypothesis testing. Okay, now this is just the theory of it. So we will discuss the problems, so things will be, the steps and everything will be more clear to you. Okay, so I'll be putting the solved problem in the next video. Thank you, students.